Right, I'm about to learn how to fit tubeless tyres. Completely new to me, never done it before. Katie MacKinnon's on her way over. She is an expert in kind of MTB, gravel, off-road stuff. So let's see if I can get this right and learn something new. So just taking the old tyres, the heavy ones that came on the bike, off. And Katie's told me to take them off. It's odd. I sound like such a newbie. Well, I am a newbie to it. Full of sealant, like she warned me it would be. No inner tube. Oh, it's all a bit weird, all a bit unusual. This. Now I've got nowhere to hang this up. Pretty obvious I've never done this, isn't it? need somewhere to tip this. This is Katie. So Katie is an expert in this stuff, in as much as I'm not an expert in this stuff. What did I say? Clueless with tubeless. That's kind of my take on it. So
the new phrase.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hopefully until the end of today. So walk me through it. So obviously I've used tubs, but we'll forget that because it's irrelevant. Yeah. And I'm used to using inner tubes, right? So when I popped these off earlier, it still even though I knew there wasn't an inner tube in there, it still confused me. So walk me through it. So first of all, what do we need? So I need a tubeless tyre, right?
Yeah,
I can't just use any tyre.
Yeah, so you need tubeless. To start with, you need tubeless specific rims,
right?
Which you've obviously already got. So that's the first thing. The rims then need to be taped as well, which all rims. I mean, there's some modern rims now that don't have those kind of holes through to the spokes.
Yeah.
But these are pre-taped because obviously they came factory tubeless.
Yeah.
But if they don't come, say you get a brand new pair of wheels, you need to tape them. So tubeless specific tape. You also need tubeless specific valves.
Yeah, I noticed that, and that because obviously that looks like the sort of thing you get on an inner tube.
Yeah,
but it's like bolted through. That's right. Okay.
So yeah, you got that bit there where the air goes through. That's sealed really tight onto the rim, which is screwed in with that bit there. So often if you set up tubeless rims yourself and you find that they're not seating when you go to put the air into them, it's often because this might not be kind of sealed down tight enough.
Okay.
But we know that's all good because
I've ridden them tubeless already. Exactly. So if we were to buy these new, I'd need to tape them and install the valve, but that bit's done. Okay,
now
fine.
I've got some wheels from a company recently that pre-tape as well. So some like DT, Swiss, Hunt, etc. They pre-tape.
Okay.
So it'd just be a case of installing the valves.
And then what do we need? So once we've got the wheel.
Yeah. So we need a few different bits and pieces that essentially are going to replace the inner tube.
Yeah.
So we've got some sealant. We need to get the sealant into between the tyre and the rim as well. So I use an injector just because I like to make sure the tyre is going to seat properly and inflate properly before I put any tubeless fluid into it.
Okay, yeah, you were saying you do it slightly differently to how most people do it.
Well, so some videos that show you how to set it up they'll put the tyre on the rim like 90% of the way, so you'll probably have a section about that much that is left off the rim.
Yeah.
Then you slosh a load of sealant in, put it onto the rim, and then you inflate it.
Okay.
But when I've kind of set tyres up myself, which I've done a few times now, I just think for me it's the safer option to make sure it's fully going to seat to the rim before I put any tubeless sealant in.
Okay.
So I put the tyre on all the way, then I put air in it, then I let it back down, and then if there's any kind of major air leakages, like I'll take it back off, check the tapes on tight enough, check the valves in tight enough, and then I'll go again until I know it's gonna seal up perfectly.
Okay.
Then I put the fluid in. So the way we put that into the wheel then is to use a valve core remover, like this little stands one here, and then you just take the valve core out.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, I've got a crow's foot, but nothing as substantial as that. It looks like the business.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, cool. All right.
And Park Tool do those as well, but I always have the stands one. So you just take that valve core out, which I won't do now because we're going to put some air into that in a minute. And then I just use an injector, and you find that on most bottles of tubeless sealant it will recommend a certain amount.
Okay.
So yeah, this says here probably 60 to 80 mil of sealant for a kind of 700C wheel with, well, these are 38s, aren't they? So I'd chuck in about 80 mil. I always go with the kind of higher end, just to.
And then you put all of that in here, do you?
Yeah. So
then, okay.
Yeah. So we'll basically. So that goes up to 60. So we'll probably do one of those and then a little bit extra. So just plonk that in there. Fill that up. And then inject that in through the valve once you put enough sealant in. Put the valve core back in, and then once it's seated, which we'll do before we put the sealant in, you should then just be able to pump it up with a track pump to about, I normally put it up to near enough the max pressure, and then you just want to spin it to get the sealant absolutely everywhere, or just take it out for a little pootle round just to make sure the sealant is then getting all over the insides of the tyres and just all around the inside of the rim. Then if there's any kind of slight air leaks between the edge of the tyre and the edge of the rim, it should, in theory, seal all those up.
Okay.
So it's a bit more faff, but I think it makes a massive difference off-road because it just allows you to run your pressures much lower. Which means you get more grip.
Well, I'm 100 kilos, so my pressures aren't going to be that low.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can. I've not deliberately let quite a lot of air out of my mountain bike tyres before, to the point where you're like dinking the rim on things, and then you're like, whoop, maybe a bit too much. But yeah, it just stops you from getting those kind of snake bite punctures. And just allows you way more grip, which I would say, like, you know, we're talking about different tyres for different purposes with gravel. I think with a relatively kind of low tread tyre that might be more suited for sort of dry days, letting a bit of extra air out is quite helpful if it's a little bit slippery. So
all right, cool. So step one is get tyre on.
Tyre on.
Should I do the other one at the same time?
Yeah. I reckon if we do both of them, so
I'll follow you along. Okay, so both sides, yeah? So they're on to a fashion, right?
Cool. So next step then is we'll put some air into them.
Okay, so this is a specific tubeless pump.
So it's essentially a compressor.
Okay.
So you pump in air into it there.
Yeah.
It compresses it and just fires it out a lot quicker than you would get from a track pump.
Ah, right, okay, so it expands quicker than the air can escape.
Yeah, it will just kind of shoot it in.
Looks like a fire extinguisher.
It does look like a fire extinguisher.
Okay, cool.
Weirdly, I have one of those in my house, but not a fire extinguisher. I'll just pop that onto there a second, and then we'll pop about.
You said 120. So tempting as it is to buy an electric compressor, I don't actually necessarily need one.
This was about 40 quid, I think.
Right, okay. Yeah, electric compressors are a lot more, aren't they?
Hopefully, it won't just hiss and let all the air out. Hopefully it will, blow the tyre up.
All right.
There we go. So that popping sound, that means we have got the tyre seated.
Awesome.
However, you can hear.
Can you hear it hissing? Right, okay.
But it should.
It's still holding.
Yeah, so that should be all right now if we put some sealant in there.
Okay, so that's pretty amazing because I never thought you could actually get away with doing that. That's bonkers.
Well, I always test it first just to make sure it is going to hold. Like I said,
it totally makes sense. Yeah, I totally understand why you'd do that because now you know for sure that even without any sealant in it, that's holding, isn't it?
Yeah. So previously, when I've set up my own wheels, like if it hasn't seated when I've done that, it might be that I need to put another layer of rim tape in. It, like I said, it might be that I haven't put the valve in properly. So I'm just gonna let the air out.
So have I got this right? Next thing we do is take the valve core out.
Yes.
Put the sealant in the injector.
Yes.
Pump that in and then pump it back up again.
Yeah, because we've let the air out slowly, it hasn't come off the
No, okay.
Well,
it might
yeah,
do.
not really. I mean, it's all right. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's where these little tools are really good, because it will just take that valve core out.
Okay, fine.
So that should sort of screw on there.
Okay.
And then.
Oh yeah, let's push some air in as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I'll just get another 20 just to.
Okay.
Not too messy so far, actually.
No, that's all right. So then what, you put the valve core back in after that?
Yeah,
okay.
and then we'll just pump it up.
What, hand pump it or use the compressor?
No, I reckon we'll be all right to hand pump it.
Okay.
I think the tyres stayed on the.
Okay.
So just get that in nice and tight.
All right.
And then put some air in it. So this is saying max 55 psi. So I normally put in close to the max.
Okay, so take it up to.
Yeah, now it looks like air's going in, so that's good. This would be the point, if air wasn't going in, I would go to the compressor.
That just ping it out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sorts of.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. So we've got a bit bubbling around the valve, but we just give it a little.
That's easier, isn't it?
There you go.
So that's just to spin it like all around the inside and on the rim
Yeah,
and on the tape.
sometimes I feel like I'm just doing this for effect, because
it's fun though.
Once you've got it on the bike and you just take it for a spin.
Yeah, of course.
A few miles. But it also it's good because you can hear if any air is hissing out.
Oh, of course.
And you can spot if any sealant is. So the
Right
only
there.
bit we've got is right by the valve.
But that's not an issue? Is that just where it...
Well, we're waiting. If we just clean that off, and then we'll wait and see if it's still...
Okay.
You can see it's fizzing a little bit, but it should
sort itself out.
Sort itself out.
Okay, we'll see.
Nice.
So you reckon take it out for a quick spin around the block?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
3 hours later.
Yeah, that seemed a lot easier than I was expecting, if I'm honest. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I feel a bit more confident now.
I mean, what was that? That took us like 40 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah, not long.
Half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
No.
So, I mean, you did the annoying bit by taking the old ones off and
cleaning that up. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
That's the least fun bit. But,
thank you anyway. I really appreciate all your help with that.
No problem.
I'm not sure I would have just put tubes in. I would have just done that because that's what I'm familiar with. So thanks very much.
All good.